Okay, before the break, just kind of looking at some odds and ends on this list. I have lots and lots and lots of tools built into the game engine. Um, because we don't really have time to see all of them, but we can start looking at a few things. So uh, some of the common ones, we look at sprite sheets, um, which yeah, when I decided to do that one, and I was trying all morning to narrow down the list, and it wasn't really getting any shorter. I was having trouble deciding what to cross off. But along with sprite sheets, another very useful thing is tile sets. Kind of set things up in a grid. We'll need some images, and a similar thing here. We want our images laid out nicely. So I'm going to use Inkscape again, where we can type in numbers. I'm just going to do a couple simple tiles, so I'll just start with a box. So I'll draw a box, maybe make this one red, and width of 32, height of 32. That'll work. So a 32 by 32 rectangle, set it at 0, 0. Does it have an outline on it? I don't think it does. It does have an outline, doesn't it? We select that under fill and stroke. Oh, yeah. If you want the fill under stroke, no pattern. Okay, I guess it looks like it has an outline on there, but maybe it's just something about the edge, the bright reds. The bright red's confusing my eyes. Anyway, there's 32 by 32 tiles. I'm going to copy that, hit paste, maybe switch this one to green. 3 tiles will probably be enough. If that first one's 32 by 32, it starts at 0, 0. Then the next one should start at 32, 0. Again, be 32 by 32. Copy and paste. Select it, copy and paste, and then a blue one. And that's probably enough to start looking at things. Won't get super far into it, just kind of introducing the tool. Let's see, it's 32, 64. Okay. 32 plus 32, yeah, 64. That didn't sound right for some reason. Although I should definitely have numbers like 32 and 64 memorized. But there's our images. So imagine if like this was rocks, and this was our platform area, sky, clouds for the background, different things. I guess we could add a couple boxes. Yeah, that gave me some ideas. So maybe I'll just keep doing these. Paste that. So up to 64, 96, 0. And make this one white. Then we have blue and white. So we just sky, clouds, copy, paste. 96 plus 32 is 128. 0. And move this one dark gray. That'll work. A few different colors. I think of things like maybe there's paths. So like this is a corner piece. So there's like green bushes around the corner, and then this part's brown, and over here it's just like green above the top and brown, so it lines up. And we can make different shapes with that corner piece, and then that one just set them up in a whole bunch of different places.
What was the dimension of those?
I did 32 by 32 each. And then the first one was set at 0, 0. And each one is 32, 64, 96, 128. Just keep adding 32 to get them to line up nicely. So it's all in different little tiles. We'll just look at that to look at the tool, but if we Google tile set, what are some common ones? So like this one. See how we have the images that have bushes and rocks and dirt path, and they're all in little squares that we can put together in different orders. So it's the pieces to make the world instead of the whole world. Some of them like that one over at the left. Oh yeah. So down at the bottom, we see the tiles, and then there's one option of how we could put those tiles together. A little lake, a couple caves. We can make 3 or 4 lakes and 5 or 6 caves, a much bigger world, or a smaller one. And we just have the components to put the world together instead of the whole thing. You can see how they will line up nicely next to each other. Something like this is good for a platformer. We have these pieces, and then we can put them together any way we want to make the platformer game. Different options in the platformer. For us, just simple colors will probably work. So I'll give that a save. Libraries, working folder. Documents. Delete. I'm just going to call this files. .svg, and then once again, it's nice to work with pings. Go to export and export that as a ping to the same folder. I assume it showed up there. So I'm going to start Godot and make a new project to look at the tile sets. New project, I'll call it tiling. This is just going to be deleted soon. Just looking at the tool we have to use. In the 248 class, we'll get a little more practice with some of this stuff. I don't know if how much time we'll really spend on tile sets. We'll at least spend an entire homework assignment on a tile set. So now to use those tiles, or those nicer ones like we just Googled instead of that those plain colors we brought in, if we search for tile, you'll see tile map is one of our options for nodes. And that went pulled up some stuff at the bottom. We'll use the bottom and do quite a bit here. So I'm going to scroll out here. We can see the whole thing. And hopefully there's enough room down there. As always, we need to bring our resources in. So from the delete folder, oops, click there. There's tiles. On our tile map, if we select that, notice it says the tile set doesn't have a tile set selected, so we need to create a new tile set. Because right now this is just a ping. It's not a tile set. It's not a set of tiles. Right? We have a picture with 4 squares in it, but we need to turn that into 4 different tiles, or however many I made there. It might have been more than 4. So I'll create a new tile set. And if we select that, or down at the very bottom of the screen, notice how we have the tile map and the tile set tab. The tabs at the very bottom, which I can't get to because Zoom buttons are in the way. Maybe I can move the Zoom buttons to the top. There we go. So there's one for the tile set and one for the tile map. First thing we need to do is load in our tile set. So with the tile set tab selected, you just drag this over. And the Atlas texture was modified, which I like to automatically create the tiles. So yes. And if we scroll over to that spot, which sometimes the easiest thing to do with, if you have like a laptop and a touchpad, when you scroll in, it scrolls to where your mouse is. If you hold control and scroll, you can move it around. If you like scroll out and put your mouse in a different spot, when it scrolls into where the mouse is located. So moving your mouse around to different spots might be easier than doing the control and slide. So it looks like it tried to do 16 by 16 grids, but I think we clearly have 32 by 32 images here. So we'll need to change that size. Our mini margins. So under setup, notice we have 3 options: setup, select, and paint. So under setup, we can add margins, space our tiles out, make it clearer what's there. At least one of those we just looked at on Google, it looked like it had 3 or 4 pixels between each tile. Hope to make them clear. Kind of like we just saw in the spreadsheet before the break. If you're going to set it up, make sure you know what the numbers are. Something that you're going to program with. Oh, there we go. So now there's 32 by 32 tiles. You have a couple of them there. And see how it started a grid up here? Let me go to the tile map first. So that's the tile map, the grid here. And now that tile set is showing, so I could like grab the grid ones and the little pencil tool. It's really small there. I can't zoom in on the icon. You see the pencil tool, which if you hover over it says paint. So it should clearly be a paintbrush picture, not a pencil picture. But we take that and then we just draw our tiles onto that grid. And come back and grab some blue ones. And like a river and let's scroll in. Oh, looks like our sizing's off because I'm painting on a 16 by 16 grid. So let's take 32 by 32. There we go. That lines up a little bit better. And notice each one of our images goes perfectly into a spot on that grid. And we can just build whatever image we want. There's an eraser, so if you get too many, grab the eraser tool and kind of erase it. Can we select a bunch of them? I go to select tool. Okay, yeah. So it doesn't really show a box, but I can drag a box around to highlight all of them, delete them all at once. So maybe for like a platformer, got a bunch of blue tiles in the background. I'll put about here. Oh, pencil, blue tile. Oh, my eraser is still selected. So notice the eraser goes with the pencil. So like the eraser would also go with the fill tool. And we have different option combinations, but then we basically just draw the tiles. So I'll like start here, over there, something like that. Then grab the gray tile and fill in everything underneath of that. Okay. Oh, maybe I have to use pencil. Can't remember where the end of that world was. Somewhere around here. Well, that filled now. Yeah. I guess that was kind of hard to see. Let me do the blue tile. That'll show up a little bit easier. And that last one, I'm gonna scroll out. I think I can. Oh. I have to have an outline. So notice how it's not letting me fill everything above there. I'll grab the blue tile and just.
How did
what?
how did you add the tile itself to it?
So you want to make sure you're on the tile map tab. Then select the pencil. Make sure the eraser is not selected. It's like the pencil and the eraser go together, or the fill can and the eraser go together. And then you just draw it in whichever spot of the grid you want it to be.
No, I meant at the actual.
Oh, on tile set, make sure you create a new tile set. So with the tile map node, over in the inspector, there's a spot here where you can create a new tile set. Mm-hmm. So create a new tile set, and then go to that tab, and then you just drag it over. Drag it over into the drop spots all the way there on the right hand side, the left hand side. So then on the tile map, we finish this circle of up there. And grab the paint can, fill that in. Back to the pencil, and I'll just erase it here. There we go. That way it's all unseen. Maybe a few white tiles to make a cloud. Clouds. Then we have like the background for runs like the highlight, so we don't have all that graphic. The background for a platformer. I'll go back in tile map, and then these green ones would make a nice little platform here, right? So a platform here, one up here we can jump to. Another one over here, and in between, maybe I'll put a red platform, and the red platform falls away if we run out of it or something. We only have a limited amount of time on the red platform, but we need our collision shapes and stuff, right? So let me undo those platforms. If we go to tile set, and those other things, we select. If we select the red one, there's a lot of options we have about it. There's animations, something we have on there. We could animate different things. Have a little bit of control over rendering. Set it up as terrains. That's getting a little complicated, but we could label some things as water and some things as sand, and our character moves different if it's on water or sand. We could define what each of those tiles means. And under paint, says select a property, and you'll notice there's a bunch of rendering properties or physics properties. If we go to like one of our tiles, maybe the green one, I'll select the green tile and choose physics. Why is it not going to physics? I've selected the wrong thing. No. I changed something because I can't seem to get to the button I want to get to. Let's select the green tile. Oh, I haven't added any physics yet. Sorry, I forgot a step.
Maybe you just select one.
So with the tile map selected, notice over here in the inspector, there's this option for physics layers. We'll add a layer. We're going to see collision layers soon. Basically, collision layers are where things can see each other. So like in our Space Invaders thing the other day, instead of checking to make sure it was a spaceship the laser hit, we could have put all the spaceships on level 7 and then set the mask on the laser, so the laser only detects things on level 7. So that's how a way of organizing things with smaller processing size. So create a collision layer here, add a new physics element, and then when we select add a property, we have options for like physics layer 0, and this is where we make our collisions. So if I select the green tile, say the green tile has now has a physics collider shape, and it can be a polygon shape, so you can change it to anything you want, but I'm just gonna leave it as a square for now. Then if we come back over and paint, those green tiles now have some physics. So if we brought a character in and set a collision boundary on it, just by default, the physics is going to apply when we do that. Let's add a new one. I'm going to search for rigid body. So rigid body 2D is something that has physics. Oh, actually, I shouldn't do that. I don't want to put the rigid body there. Let me save this as my tiles. I don't know, some sort of name. And then create a new one. So this can be a level. So then here in level, we'll add that scene we just created that has the tile map. And then to that, we can add a new rigid body. Rigid body means physics apply. So gravity pulls on it and forces make it move, and all the laws of physics apply. So that's what character bodies are customized versions of that, like with rotation axes that are locked in place so our character doesn't go flipping because the walk animation goes off the center of gravity and the computer thinks something that with the center of gravity that's constantly moving should be spinning. The thing we always constantly fight against and we don't notice what our ab muscles do to fight against that. Something moving like this should be constantly spinning, doing backflips by the laws of physics. But those high steps. So the laws of physics apply to this. We can give it some sort of like mesh. Oops. Mesh so we can see it. Maybe a quick mesh instance, and I'll add in a quad mesh, nice little square, and then add a collision body so that we have a boundary of where those things happen, which I don't think quite lined up. That's there. Okay, there we go. Probably not white. So I can click texture and add a new canvas texture. Will that work? Nope. Canvas texture is going to be complicated. Gradient texture. There we go. There we go. That way it stands out apart from the cloud. So I was looking for something quick. Then the collision shape is currently really small, so probably need to set the transform. Oh, transform. Visibility. Should be a size somewhere out. Set the shape to a rectangle. Oh yeah, then we can just offset that to match where our character is. So now the collision shape matches that rigid body. And laws of physics should apply to this. And only the platform there has a collision shape. So it should fall right past all the blue tiles without any interaction. And then that little cloud there and land on the thing. If I did that all correctly, but I was talking while I was typing the whole time. So. Okay. So laws of physics apply automatically and it comes down. Then we could start adding scripts, make it move over and jump. Actually, if we add the character body script to it, I think we can use that template from here. Default. I would have to use a character body script. One quick way to get that might be to add it. Cancel that. I'll just copy it from somewhere else. I'll look for a character body, but I want to put it on a rigid body. So I'll do that and add a script. That'll give me the default character body script. I'll select all and copy that. Have the rigid body, add a script to that. No, so the new rigid body script is blank. The laws of physics are built into it without us coding any of that. I'm select all this and keep that first part there. So we're going to inherit from rigid body. So we have all the normal physics. Then we don't need gravity because rigid body already has gravity. We don't need to add the gravity. What's this? Oh. Okay, so that's the character body. Well, just do this. I'll make those child with character body instead of the rigid body. This script close. Okay. So the default character body. Sorry, did everybody see what I did there?
So I was playing around with it, and I think under inheritance on the attach a node, I think they'll attach a script that's where you can it.
Oh, inherits. I was looking in the wrong spot. But now, notice we have a platformer that quick. I don't have to make that really, really quick. Our character body. I just went with the character body instead of rigid body. The rigid body was going to do neat stuff. I was going to show the rigid body. It would start spinning and things like that. I'll just use the character body script so that kind of gives you some things to play around with. Eventually fall off. We go back to the tile map and the editor. The red did not have anything. The red did not have any physics applied. So to kind of paint a quick red thing, I don't think it had any physics applied. Unless I did by accident. Tile map. Oh, there we go. So we should be able to fall right through that red line just to see that collision. Unless I mess something up and accidentally put the physics on the red line too. But we can make it level. Oh. Save those changes. I think I make a level play. See, we fall right through the red line. Physics, we choose which tile the physics apply to. And all those properties, so animation, and maybe some inherent movement, just moving back and forth, all that stuff, we have control over the tiles. That is something you're going to want to spend a little bit of time playing with. And like I said, today's going to be in sort of a short day of class, so I would recommend spend a little bit of time playing around with the tile set. You start like we did there. Make some just colored tiles like this. So you can do some basic ones, and then you can download tile sets all day long when Zoom buttons get out of my way. Asset library should have some tile sets. So there's some. Looks like it's mostly plugins. They just made a new website. X. Website with assets for Godot, since we haven't looked at that yet. We're just making simple things. So there's asset library. Best assets all free. You get stuff right from itch. that's a common place to sell it. So if you do some art and want to make a few bucks, you can just go sell your assets. Let's see what's on here. So Godot AL. Asset library. This isn't the one I was thinking of. There should be some stuff on here. If you look for tile set, quite a few. Oh, those are just plugins, aren't they? What's this one? I guess it's the tile set to make that platform. Probably kind of a nice tile set.
And the description says plugin lets you make nicely textured 2D polys.
Oh, so those are plugins. I didn't think that was the site I was looking for. Marketplace? Marketplace, that would make more sense. Okay, yeah. So let's set our filter to free. What did I click on?
I think you clicked on 2D.
Okay, it's 2D and free. Oh yeah, so 16 by 16 desert tile set. So you can get some nice tile sets. I clicked free, but that's $1. I thought I clicked free. You see, there's free stuff on there or places to sell tile sets if you make nice ones, which is another. Frankly, it's a more productive way to monetize it. Make some games, put your assets together, spend a lot of time making good artwork, and then sell them. And then your small sample game is like the promotional tool for it, and people obviously wide price ranges, right? Give some stuff away for free, get your name out there. $1. If I unclick that free one, they can get fairly expensive. Hexagonal tiles, yeah, we only look at square tiles. There's lots and lots of assets out there. So if you know marketplace.com, looks like it has some stuff. That's not the new site I was thinking of either. So, what's this one? $1 for RPG characters. I assume they're fully animated and stuff for $1. I'll go through some of that. Dungeon generators. You want to make a roguelike game that just goes and goes and goes and goes. Dungeon generators can be a bit complicated. I'd like to show those in class, maybe in the 248 class. That one might be a bit much to make fit. We could do a random dungeon generator. We could like randomly generate dungeon rooms, but random generated usually doesn't necessarily make a fun game. Sometimes the boss will end up in the room where you spawn from, and you don't have a chance to go find weapons, and
absolutely
you'll end up with hall after hall after hall after hall. Yeah, you don't want it to be random, and it gets a little bit tricky. But there are lots of videos, usually in the 3 to 4 hour range on YouTube, showing how to make those. It's a little bit tricky and a bit much for class, but that's the tile set. That's definitely one you're going to want to. The tile sets and tile maps. It's definitely one that you're going to want to play around with and get familiarity with. Very, very useful for 2D stuff. And we just did boxes, so obviously you can get much better looking tiles than that. And if you make some really nice looking tiles, you can go on Godot Marketplace and sell them and start monetizing stuff pretty quickly, pretty easily. For the people that want to do programming and try to avoid the art stuff. But y'all have heard me say many times in this class, we can't separate the two. Some people come in thinking they can, and until they figure out they can't, the rest of us can sell them art assets and make a few dollars. But it's really not, we can't really separate the two. There you go. They're too intertwined in game development. You at least have to know a little bit about art stuff. So there was just some random tools for today. Definitely play around with those tile sets, the tile editor, click on things, see what you see. See if you can find some good tile sets to start building worlds with. You can probably just do a random search for those because tile sets are all going to be the same. Right? You download the sprite sheet and then you make it a tile set in your engine. As soon as zoom buttons get out of the way. I just looked at a couple earlier, but I bet these can probably be downloaded. That's an ad. G develops a really popular game. That looks like a huge tile set. Yeah, so that's just a great big thing. So just download that, and there's a tile set with. I'm guessing that's buildings and things for a village.
All kinds of objects.
Yes, all kinds of objects. So you can find tile sets all day long, and start playing around with the tile editor. It is a good way to put games together. Oh, I just googled tiles.
I was just curious.
I can pull it back up. I was getting ready to stop the screen share though. I just did images. That was in the top row. Sorry, images. So today's a little bit shorter than normal. I have a meeting at 3:30. So I guess that's probably a good point to wrap up. And then on Monday, we will get into 3D with Godot. And we're going to use some tools in Blender to make it quicker. In particular, we'll use like the insert landscape button. There's a landscape button in Blender. And there's a tree button in Blender, and we just adjust parameters. And then we can use multi-mesh instancing to take that one tree and turn it into an entire forest. So we'll use some of those tools to very quickly make a large open world game. I was having trouble finding a tutorial I liked. I found one that I really, really liked. I loved the tutorial, but it was 5.5 hours long. And that seemed like a bit much to give you all for homework. So we'll probably make an open world one with our follow along in class, or the videos in class, and then that'll be the 3D Godot tutorial. Unless I find a really good one over the weekend.
Oh, the one we do in class will count as a 3D tutorial.
Well, yeah, some customers expand what we do in class a little bit, but not much. Because I haven't found a tutorial. I couldn't find a tutorial I was really happy with in class. They were either way too short or way too long. There's nothing in no little Goldilocks tutorials that were just right. They're like, okay, I can keep them busy for 2 weeks straight. I can't do anything else, or it's going to be done in 20 minutes, and they bear and not really show very much at all. So we'll probably use what we do in class. Otherwise, the biggest thing with game development is just start making games. We've seen the tools. Get in there, start clicking around, trying different things with those things we've seen. If you have any questions, let me know. I think I'm gonna need a meeting, but if you send me a text message, I won't be talking. I'm not the host of the meeting, so I'll be muted on the Zoom call and stuff. So feel free to send me questions. Otherwise, I will see you all on Monday, and we'll get into 3D stuff with Godot. All right.